Hello, and welcome to another episode of Riding in Cars with Books. I'm Jaclyn.
And I'm Phillip?
Are you sure?
We'll go with it this time.
Today, we are trying something a little different than our norm. We're discussing a book that has pictures.
Wait, we don't discuss books?
But it's not a graphic novel.
Oh.
We are discussing A Sky Full of Dragons, Book 1 of the Wand Keepers series by Tiffany McDaniel.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is a middle grade fantasy book from Simon & Schuster. And I read Tiffany McDaniel before, and this is completely different than any of those books because it's a different audience, it's a different genre.
Yes, it is. It is definitely made for all ages.
Very much so. So, a little bit about the book. I'm just going to read the back before you wonder what I'm babbling about.
What are you reading?
Aunt Cauldroneyes is always looking into cauldrons. She's found everything from giggling moons to troll nose rings, but when she looks inside a purple cauldron one stormy night, she finds a girl with blue freckles. The old witch raises the girl in a crooked house with doors enchanted to smell and taste like chocolate and names her Spella. There, Aunt Cauldroneyes teaches Spella how to make magical hats for creatures like unicorns and dragons, giants and goblins. When Spella turns 8, she receives an invitation to Dragon's Knob, a school for wand, witchery, and wizardry. But on the very night Spella is set to leave, a stranger appears with a growling hat that swallows Aunt Cauldroneyes and steals her away. To rescue her aunt, Spella must go up into the sky full of dragons and to her new school. With protesters outside the gates threatening the school's academic freedom, Spella and her new friend Holden are thrust into the mystery of her aunt's disappearance and a long-buried secret hidden somewhere in the school.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ta-da! So that is what that book was about.
Hey, that's exactly what the book was about.
What were your thoughts?
What were your thoughts?
I asked you first.
Well,
I just
always gotta
spent
go
5
first.
minutes talking, that's why.
I always got to go first.
That's the point.
So I actually, by the end of the book, I thoroughly enjoyed the book. For me, the hard part of the book was getting started. There was a lot, and I guess in the first couple of chapters, there was a lot of story building or world building. I should say story building, of
Character
course.
and...
Yeah, it was kind of laying out the whole world that they live in, like from the hats, where the magic comes from, all the witches.
The backstory of the characters.
Yeah, so a lot of that was done in the first few chapters. And
As one does in a book.
Right, and for me, and once again, like, I'm old, or older, like the book's not written for me. Like, some of the backstory stuff, it's like, sure. Like, I don't feel like at this point I need it, because a lot of the books have similar backstories that I can just pick up on when it goes. But then she gets to the school. Once it gets to the school, the book became completely different. It's where you really learn what the characters are about. You really learn all the characters.
The character interactions.
Yeah, the character interactions, the magic, and everything like that. And to me, it went into a completely different book that I loved. Like, I loved the book at the end. I loved her. I loved her best friend. I liked the teacher interactions. Of course, they're in a school, so you're going to have bullies and stuff. But I also like the fact that we had part of a story where not every other scene was about the bullies.
Yeah.
Like, we knew they were there. They had some scenes, but it wasn't about them and that growth either. It was an overall story.
No, I agree that I liked the book more once she got to the school, because she got to be her own person.
Yes.
She was 8 years old, so we're adults.
Right.
Trying to relate to an 8-year-old, but once we
I
get
can relate
to the
an
school,
8-year-old.
I really liked it. We both actually listened to the audio book, and the narration was really good. But at the beginning, I kind of started cringing every time Aunt Cauldroneyes said "little dear" because she said it so many times.
Right.
But that's probably my only complaint, and that's just a personal preference.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that was a part of the stuff that, for me, once again,
We're
adults. This isn't always geared toward me, but like I knew who the characters were after the first couple of times, where they were really explaining to you at the beginning
Yeah.
the characters that they wanted you to understand, because the cast grew, and it grew quickly once we got to the school.
Yeah.
It went from a couple of people and a cat and some hats to a lot of people, a lot of teachers, the villain, more hats.
I liked like a lot of little things.
Dodos.
Yeah, dodos were like their little tour guides, right?
Yes.
For the school.
Yep.
I liked a lot of little things, like she collected blue buttons because they reminded her of her aunt, and then she herself had blue freckles.
Right.
So like I guess that symbolized her blue freckles. But and then she wanted to paint them because she didn't like the blue freckles.
Right.
Because that's what she was bullied about. So that made me sad. And the lingo was hilarious to me because of the slang. Like kids slang today goes way over my head. I have no idea. Dragon fire. No, toad fire.
Or toad fire.
Toad fire was my favorite because like toad fire to me reminds me like totally, and fire means like cool or hot or whatever.
Right.
But that was my favorite when she was saying toad fire.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
But some of the other slang, I'm just like, what are they talking about? But toad fire made me laugh.
The language in the book I thought was
no,
great.
It's perfect for the age range it's written for, but I still really enjoyed it.
And one of the characters is a mummified cat, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's so cute. There are illustrations in the book, so that was fun. And I love the footnotes and how those were incorporated. You learn a lot about magic and spells and random things.
Like random spells they would actually give you.
Like dragons with soft fangs eat only one thing, mallow fluffs.
What's a mallow fluff?
So just random factoids like that just make the book a lot of fun and kind of interactive in a way. So I thought it was a really fun start to a series, and I'm curious. This one has an ending.
Yes.
Not going to spoil the ending, but it has an ending, so I'll be curious to where book 2 will go.
Yeah, I'm hoping they kind of stay that way. Like, you can continue series and have an ending to a book and just make a larger story, right?
I feel like that's required for younger readers because they can just pick up book 2 or book 3. They don't have to read them in order.
Trust me, it's required for older readers, too. It drives me insane.
No, you misunderstood.
Obviously.
An ending is required.
That's what I mean.
But you read a lot of cliffhangers.
I know, but it drives me crazy sometimes. Like, sometimes I feel like people, when they're making books like this, sometimes they feel like they need to have these cliffhangers because, hey, I'm going to have a book 2, but we didn't need that here, right?
No, you don't need a cliffhanger.
Right. You just, I mean...
Cliffhangers aren't fun for kids, okay?
Right. Well, it's not fun for me either.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
I don't read a lot of series.
Right.
The spells, the sun is terrible.
Ah.
The spells were written on like scrolls. There's a lot of cute little additions. The author sent me this copy, so thank you so much, Tiffany, for sending this to me. And she signed it and sent me. I got the invitation, and some bookmarks. I didn't bring the invitation with me, but thank you so much for sending that. And I made him read it too.
I loved it. Like I said, once I got through that first chapter or two, I had to get through it to get through who the characters were and all that. But once we got there, at the end of this book, I loved it. I feel now that once we get into book 2 and go after, it's just going to be hitting the ground running.
Set it up the same.
Yep, there's none of that, and so it's going to be. I'm going to enjoy the series. Like I said, I ended up loving this book.
I think you already said it, but I loved the friendship, and they were both kind of outcast in a way, and they found each other.
I love the hearing aid.
Yeah. Like he wore glasses, but he didn't need the glasses, but it was like a distraction for his
and they were his grandfathers.
He was hard of hearing. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And they kind of bonded of like both of them were missing someone in their lives, so that was really special.
Yeah, if you're looking for a book that is very magical, has dragons, has
other creatures,
witches, other creatures, and it's all normal in this universe, right? Like like the aunt makes these magical hats for people, but the hats have personalities. It's not like it's just a hat. It's they have magical enchantments like like the one friend, his grandmother enchanted his coat so he could just pull out a sandwich
Sandwiches. But they
anytime
smell
wanted.
like perfume.
Her perfume,
or
right?
whatever. But that was kind of funny. They used that to their advantage eventually.
Yep. But there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in that book that I thought was very well done and very well handled. So
yeah, it was
Yep.
great. I really liked it. So
I can't wait to read book 2. I'm looking forward to book 2.
yes, definitely, me too. But I think that is all we have to say. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.